SM i fotografi sponsras av Olympus, iPhone, Epson, Sony, Lundeby Foto, C-Infinity, Rapid Album Designer, N-Photo, Canson Infinity, Printstudion, Litra, Nikon och Focus Nordic. Sändningen sponsras av Studio Pi.
Portrait. On a practical note for the judges, your screen is to reference so you can see it's the right picture. If you want to study the picture, you go up. You don't zoom on the screen. Creative portrait is portraits where styling and post-processing are encouraged and become a significant part of the final image. The photograph should contain one or more living creatures.
No, you're on the wrong. There. No, it's got to be that category. You need to go back on the browser. Scroll under the bottom. Save. Okay. Okay. It's curved, so I don't think it's that.
It's titled Reading Past Bedtime. The image gets 82 1/5. The Red Queen. This image gets 82. There's no formal challenge, but I think we should start talking about pictures. We're beginning to get used to the software. And Julian, do you want to start?
I enjoy this. Oh, is it on? Hello? No. There we go. I enjoy the styling in this image, and I like what the photographer was doing, but the skin tone is very muddy in the arms, and also I'm wondering if a different paper choice would have been better for this. because I know fine art paper is a popular choice, but for this one I think that maybe a glossier paper might have brought out some of that detail that they've spent so much time creating.
Yeah, I completely agree. Not to repeat what Julia said, but also with fine art paper, you have to really just be careful that the blacks don't become washed out, which is what's happened here. And also the posing of the shoulders and the arms could be articulated a little bit more, and watch the symmetry. It's ever so slightly off center, which once you see, you can't unsee.
Okay, sorry for my bad English. I agree with my friend and colleague about the skin tones. Is very red. The hands and the body is very different. I don't found the story in her eyes. So I think that this image could be improved. In the skin, in the pose, in the crop.
I agree with the choice of paper. It's wrong. The blacks don't look black. I love the face. I think the face is very, very good indeed. I just find the hands awkward, although they should be holding something, but I think something could be done better with the hands. But the expression and the face and the lighting, I think it's very good, and it deserved the mark it got.
They already said everything I need to say.
Okay. I don't know, Julia, you started. Do you have another comment? Rescore. Judges rescore. Did everybody rescore? And this image now gets 82 1/5. In the 100 system, there is something called an automatic challenge, which is when any one judge is a 10-point off the average of the others. But since we are limiting the scores to literally 80, 79, it can be hard to get an automatic challenge because they can't go that low, they go high. So I'll choose some pictures during the way, and you judges, if you have some like Jim before, please choose some pictures for us to talk about. Okay. The Cotton Queen. $82 1/5.
That's not the next
wrong.
one.
That's wrong.
No.
Is that 43? Yeah, so 350 was disqualified. That's someone lost the label.
What happened?
This is 3
Taken by demons.
We have an another image.
Yeah, we just move.
Yes,
You move one.
one photo was disqualified too.
Oh,
Okay.
that was a good picture.
$87 1/5. Why that hard? $87 1/5. Circus dreams. This image got 86 3/5, and I will ask for debate. You start.
I think this image is beautifully done. Actually, it's got a sort of delicate sensitivity to it, and I know we probably shouldn't use the title as any kind of guidance, but it's a hint at what the image is about, and it's about dreams that maybe haven't come true. So the expression here is what really draws me in. There are a few technical things, maybe that it's not the right paper choice, and it looks a little soft, a little washed out, but for me the emotion and the intention behind the image is quite powerful, with the pose, the hand posing, just the overall expression and the gesture of the form of the body there. It's quite powerful. It draws you into the story and kind of makes you think a little bit more. So I think it probably deserves a higher score. I think it probably should go into the next category.
I think that this is a perfect image. I love all of it.
I agree with Sandra a lot. I think it's a charming little picture. It's beautifully done. I love the lighting and I love the expression on the face. I give it quite a high score.
Well, I agree, you guys. I just love this simplicity here, and the tones, the colors, how they combined together. I love the expression. Only thing that I was a bit worried was the main line. The shadow of the nose just was a bit too, got my eye. Yeah, but I love it. I'm willing to go higher.
I had scored it an 88, but I think that I can go up on that. I do enjoy the image. It might have been interesting to see it in a circular mount, but other than that, I do enjoy the story of this image.
And rescoring, please. Everybody ready? This image gets 91 3/5. Not specifically for the image we just saw, but when you prepare your images at home, mind that the light here is different from what you just see at home. So maybe try to mimic this kind of stand and judge your pictures there yourself. Okay, the quality and everything, because that's what the judges see. I don't care what you see at home. This is what counts. Ona Bugesha. $83 2/5. And we move judges.
SM i fotografi sponsras av Olympus, iPhone, Epson, Sony, Lundeby Foto, C Infinity, Rapid Album Designer, N-Photo, Canson Infinity, Printstudion, Litra, Nikon och Focus Nordic. Sändningen sponsras av Studio Pi.
Growing up in a big brother state. $83 1/5. See you in Tokyo 2020.
Which one you said is wrong?
And this picture gets 81 2/3. Three watermen.
What's the title? 3? I'm about to find out. It should be on the top of the thing. Oh yeah. I got kicked out of the system.
Missing 2 judges. This picture gets 81. Dollhouse. This image gets 89 and a 5th, and I actually would like you to talk about it. And Tina, you get the chance of starting.
Okay, I gave it very high points because it's about having perfect life. It's a perfect dollhouse. I love how the picture is made, the framing inside the frames and clean skin tones and stuff like that. I love it. I really would like to give even more higher marks.
I agree. I gave this one a 94 and could possibly even go up. I enjoy the story. The posing is very nice and exact. The only thing I could see is on the what do you call it? The left side of the what do you call the things that close the window?
Shutters.
Shutters, sorry. And I speak English anyway. I think that some of the lines have gone, they could use just a little bit more contrast to bring those out to match the ones on the other side if you're going for symmetry here. But other than that, I enjoy this, the perfection of it.
I was possibly the bad guy here. I gave it 86. I've got to counter what you guys are saying actually slightly. I think there's, for a category where there's the opportunity for complete perfection because post-processing is encouraged here, there are too many things that are just slightly off to make it imperfect, like she's off-center, for example. The detail back to front, her outline is very sharp, but the background is slightly soft, which becomes a distraction once you notice it. Also, when you look through the window, it's even softer. And I understand there's depth of field, but it's not convincing because of the level of detail on her. Also, there's a few things that make sense, like if you close the shutters, they don't quite fit the windows. So something's been done there which just doesn't quite add up to me. The posing is very good, but could do with a little bit more articulation, with the elbows and the shoulders, that sort of thing. But the expression is really kind of what brings it down for me. It's a little bit flat, a little bit dead, and could just do. I mean, it's a very engaging expression. Don't get me wrong, but if the image is about perfection, there should be a subtle sense of joy or pride or something in the expression just to lift the image. So, you know, I've yet to be convinced.
I love the idea, but I would like to suggest, or this is my taste, to add more shadows between the background and the subject. I think that the colors are great, but I don't like the background. Nice colors, very nice tone of the skin, but I would like to see more details on the principal subject, more impact from the background. Is about my opinion, is too flat. Okay.
I really like this picture. I put it into the highest category. I think it's, as a storyteller, it caught my eye straight away. It has that wow factor. Yes, you can nitpick at certain things, maybe the symmetry's not quite right, but I just love the idea, I love the expression, and the use of that pink flamingo is so perfect in that composition. It's creative, it's beautifully lit, and I love the expression. I think as a story in there, this is somebody with a camera who can tell a story with one picture, and I think it deserves into the highest.
Thank you, and we rescore. Hold on. 92. Scooby-Doo. Hold on. $82.25. As the world falls down. Hold on. 84. Kraftsamling. That would be a collection of force. making ready your floors. $81 1/5. Turn to dust. $82. Miss DeVille and her crew. Portra. This gets 87, and I think we have a little talk again. Patricia, you start?
Yes. Just a moment. I love the creativity of this image, the story. I love the shape of the white cat and the opposite in black. But the only improvement that I will made on it could be the different expression of her face. This is not the story, is not the perfect story with the cat and the dog. She is neutral. Is right in English? I don't know. I will add more light on the dog, more shape on her body here, where is all black, the shape around her. But I love the idea.
I gave this a high mark again. I get into a very high quality category. Such a clever idea, you know. You now and again see somebody who creates something with a camera. I just like there's a couple of little things that let me down a little bit. The lighting on the lady's face, the shadow on the nose is a little bit harsh. The highlights are slightly blown out on the cat. But I gave it a high score because I just love the creativity. That somebody actually thought of that and used a camera to create such an interesting picture.
Okay, I gave a high points, but I'm a little bit confused because the brightest part, the white side of her, is it looks a little bit dirty. I would have missed more brightness, more high key into that part, and in the opposite side, I missed texture in a black coat.
That's
I'm not sure which part is the good side because the cat is braiding something and the evil looking dog is looking actually much nicer. I'm kind of mixed up feelings with this one.
I've given this an 83. I like the concept, but I just think the execution needs some finessing. So, for example, the hairline should have been perfectly straight under that line. And also, her face is cut off on the left-hand side by the sweep of her hair. It should have been moved over so that we could see the full circle of her face, rather than it cutting off, because it's very, very harsh. And I agree the expression is also just, well, on all three subjects is a bit weak for the concept.
I'm with Julia on this one. I think it's a clever concept, and it is let down by the execution. And not to repeat what you've said, Julia, but also, you know, things like the post-production. Again, this category encourages post-production, so that needs to be considered and of a high standard as well. If it's going to score a very high or a highest, that needs to represent that. So in the shadow areas in the bottom left, it just suddenly becomes very muddy and murky compared to the black background. The expression, we've spoken about that, but should reflect what the character's supposed to be. If it's Cruella de Vil, then she needs to be a little bit more evil. She just looks like a mix between something evil and a little bit friendly, but also we've got that strong black and white split, so perhaps the lighting could have reflected that from the right side. You know, and there's details lost in highlights and details lost in shadows, and, you know, I won't repeat whatever else has been said, but I think, you know, I gave this an 84. I think that's probably the right category for it. I could go up a couple of points, but yeah, I think it's lost in the execution. A bit of a missed opportunity, but great attempt.
Thank you, and rescoring, Richard. Are you all done? His image scores 87 3/5. Mysterious girl. And 82 fifths. Judges, please move.
SM i fotografi sponsras av Olympus, iPhone, Epson, Sony, Lundeby Foto, C-Infinity, Rapid Album Designer, N-Photo, Canson Infinity, Printstudion, Litra, Nikon och Focus Nordic. Sändningen sponsras av Studio Pi.
Prima ballerina. 84.6.
Can I say something about this?
Sure.
I think it got the correct score. But if the author's in the room, I just want to say, when you're so close to getting perfection, just go a little further and seek a little bit more. The tones, the handling of everything up to the face is beautiful. And then you get to the face and the light is unflattering, the expression's unflattering. And, you know, the creases in her top, it becomes a distraction. The highlight's a little bit too strong. So it's perfect until it's not. And when you get to the center of attention, which is in the face and the hand pose, I mean, for a ballerina as well, the hand posing should be more fluid and a little bit more delicate as well. So just when you think you're happy, just look at it again and take it that much further, and it makes all the difference to the image.
And the only thing I would add to that as well is I question the category choice as well, because to me this is more of a classical portrait. I can't really see what the Photoshop element was in this.
It's true. I think the same things, and I'm really curious to know why. She has this wonderful dress with veils, and the contrast is the top and the expression of her face. This is a moving image, but that is wrong for me.
I agree, Sanjay, with all things you said, and also Julie. I think this is more a classical portrait than a creative. Because also it's quite like what you said, go a bit further. And also keep in mind, if you are showing legs and the skin tone is a bit grey, it's a bit distractive. But overall, a decent image.
Thank you, judges, and rescoring. Everyone rescored? 83 1/3. Sorry. '84. We have a ghost score here that we just removed. Sorry. Forest Queen. '82 3/5. Dandelion Girl. 81. Young Queen. Hold on. This image gets 81 3/5.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Just in case the author is in the room. I just wanted to say, just in case the author is in the room, that this is a good example of where I think paper choice comes into play. I think that a more matte paper would have been better for this image. The light on the face is too bright. You could have brought that down a bit, and then I think that some of the issues might have been solved by having a creamier paper.
Anyone else wants to comment on the picture?
I can say one thing. I think it's in the wrong category. It should be classical.
Me too, yeah. Me too.
Anyone else? Then I will ask you to rescore. Everyone done?
Mm.
Okay. 81 3/5. Overthinking. Are you done? Eighty-four 1/5.
Can I say something?
Sure.
This isn't a challenge. I don't necessarily want to rescore it. It's just if the author's in the room, I don't think this is the right paper choice. It's too soft. If the concept is supposed to be something quite edgy about her overthinking, then you've got to think about paper choice. The expression doesn't reflect what the effect of the image is supposed to achieve, but also just going back to the paper choice, you have to be very careful about the handling of this. And it looks like there's marks, and it hasn't, it's quite a fragile paper when you use fine art. It has to be handled quite carefully. It's got marks and scuffs and that sort of thing on it, so you just have to be very careful with that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Next image. Step into Wonderland. Are you done? This image gets 79,350. I actually think we should talk about this one.
I gave it an 80 because I thought we couldn't go below that. But I agree. There's a few issues here that really stand out. The biggest thing is color management. Any photographer, digital artist needs to understand color management. Manage the colors from your camera, it has an effect on your screen, manage the screen and manage prints. There's a magenta cast across this whole image, and the border looks magenta. What things that you perceive to be white should be are magenta. There's some composite elements to this image as well, and the blending isn't convincing. And the final thing for me is, there are a few things, but the final thing for me that's a real distraction is there appears to be a flare that's been added to the image just to the left of the subject coming out of the tree. And again, if you introduce these elements, you've got to think about the blending, and that's not convincing. There are a few other things, but these are the key things for me. So it's a shame because it's a nice concept, but again, take it further and it makes a difference as well.
I totally agree with it.
So,
The white point is missing. The colors are wrong.
Yeah, there are also posing issues, and the ladder, I think, should have been turned more to the side as well, and the trees are just completely black on the trunk.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. What else to say? I love the concept, but the photographer should have been made some lighting to the main subject, to the kit. And yeah, that's mostly it.
Yeah, I agree with all those things before. It's like it's not finished. Yes, the ladder and the girl, they're not blending in, and saturation is way too high.
Thank you, and since this is a formal challenge, we do actually do a rescope.
Are we going down? So, what's the range?
The lowest you technically can enter is 79. Are you all done? Image score 79 1/5. I would say that looking at my screen, the image color-wise looks quite different from what we see up here.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, I guess, is a printing issue, but that is the responsibility of the photographer. That concludes this category and means a lunch break.
SM i fotografi sponsras av Olympus, iPhone, Epson, Sony, Lundeby Foto, C-Infinity, Rapid Album Designer, N-Photo, Canson Infinity, Printstudion, Litra, Nikon och Focus Nordic. Sändningen sponsras av Studio Pi.